wind sends chill to bone and battles autumn leaves. So beware, beware the pumpkin man this All Hallows Eve.
This house pays homage to historic Cromwell's most famous legend, the Pumpkin Man. They say he tormented the town and killed 8 people here.
The whole reason the Pumpkin Man hasn't been summoned is because no one knows the demon's name.
I mean, did you know they built Sir Henry's haunted trail on the spot where the witch killed herself?
Do you guys want to break some rules tonight?
What kind of rules are we talking?
I knew you were going to try to turn this into one of your twisted horror fantasies. The Pumpkin Man is not real.
Madame Mole hid the book away, hoping that the world would be safe from it. You have no idea what you have bound yourselves to.
I haven't told anyone about this, but I think the Pumpkin Man was watching me the other night.
Kerbis is a sacrificial demon. He feeds on those who have summoned him. You bind yourself to him with a contract, and that price is your life.
What's up? Happy Tuesday evening, ladies and gents. First of all, we got to kick off with the Pumpkin Man. As you guys see, rocking the rep. We got the whole thing going. As you guys saw the trailer for the Pumpkin Man, today is the day. We mentioned this multiple times for you guys. September 5th, pre-orders are now officially live for you guys to check out the Pumpkin Man. To purchase your very own copy of the film that you guys get to see the trailer for. Let me go ahead. I'm actually going to drop the link for you guys in the chat. If you guys want to check it out, it's over on ScreamTeamRelease.com. ScreamTeamReleasing.com. Let me go ahead and do all this. Hondo, sit down. Hondo always does this, by the way, where he's like, I'm going to wait till they start talking, then I'm going to interrupt.
I think it's the talking that
It's
like,
the
gets
talking.
him excited.
He doesn't realize we're talking to you guys. But anyways, I'm going to drop it right now for you guys. It is in the chat. Check out the link there. We'll also go ahead and put a link for it in the description for the live stream and stuff, so you guys can also check out for those of you who are watching the replay for tonight's live stream. But how's it going, everybody? Happy Tuesday evening. It's been a long time since we've done a Tuesday Eve live stream.
A very long time.
A long time. With what?
I don't even remember.
Early July, I think it was, when we swapped to Fridays for a bit. So this is the first time in a long time since we've done a Tuesday evening live stream. So it's good to see you guys, our Tuesday folks and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering why we're doing a Tuesday live stream and not Fridays, because it's Horror Nights. It's finally Horror Nights season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to be discussing a couple things. Let's talk about today's lineup, right? So as you guys saw to start off, we had the Pumpkin Man trailer there for you guys to check out. We put the link in the chat for you guys to see, because we can go ahead and actually own a copy. Now, these are just pre-orders currently in the works. I think about 2 to 3 weeks, they will be going out physically to the address when you guys purchase them. And for the celebration of today, with the Pumpkin Man being pre-ordered live today, we went ahead and teamed up with Southridge Films to do giveaways for you guys. So we are actually going to be doing 3 giveaways in today's live stream. I know, surprise. Right, we've been doing a lot of giveaways recently, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to be doing 3 in tonight's live stream. We're going to be doing 3 copies, Blu-ray copies of the Pumpkin Man, and one of those will come with a signed 24x36 poster. This bad boy right here, actually. Maybe, there we go. Ta-da! And you're going to get your very own signed 24x36 poster here, featuring the Pumpkin Man with a Blu-ray copy as well. And let's see if I can... Steph just abandoned me.
Sorry.
Okay, Steph, grab that and roll it, Steph. This is live. There we go. So as Steph gets that rolled up there, we'll be doing 3 of those giveaways around every 20 to 30 minutes or so. And then the big giveaway with one of the Blu-ray copies with a signed Pumpkin Man poster. That'll be the last one that we save for towards the end of the live stream.
Yeah.
So all of that, check it out, guys, over at StreamTeamReleasing.com. I had the link in the chat. We'll also go ahead and put it in the description here soon for the live stream. I realized I did not do that, so I got to get on top of that. But we'll be talking about the Pumpkin Man throughout the night as we do the giveaways and stuff. Another thing we're going to be discussing is, of course, opening weekend for Halloween Horror Nights 32. We have a lot to say as in regards to opening night, to the second night, to the third night. We went every single night, and we checked out all the houses and stuff multiple times. So we got a lot to say. And with you guys, we're actually going to be doing a live ranking. So we'll actually go ahead and rank our houses from what we thought was at the bottom to what was at the tippy top. And that's all going to be discussed with you guys live. So Steph and I, we actually don't have the ranking complete. We haven't really talked about it fully. We kind of know what our top 5 is and what our bottom 5 is.
We talked about it. What's interesting is we talked about it after night 1. After the first night, we went through our ranking. And by the end of the third night, it changed a lot. So, we haven't revisited it, so
no, yeah,
that'll be fun.
It's going to be an interesting conversation. There are things that I probably am going to vent about and get off my chest as the night goes
and
on.
Then I will try to put a positive spin on it.
Well, this is what I'm going to say. Everything that I have to say about Horror Nights that you guys may take as a negative thing is actually a positive thing. All right, so keep that in mind, and I'll explain as to why later, and it'll get to that. But to start off, we have to bring up this gentleman here with HK Grim Sniper saying, all right, we need to know, how was the rest of opening weekend? Did it get better? How were the performances in the house? Did they improve? How were the scare zones? Give us all the deets. Well, you came to the right live stream because in this live stream, we're going to be doing so with all of that. I will say, to answer at least one of your questions that you have, it did get better.
Much better.
Like, Monday came around, and although we were beat and exhausted and we were rained on and stuff from the past weekend and all, Monday came around and I went, crap, there's no HHN tonight. What are we going to do? Yeah. Even though we had work. But it was like, darn, like, I want to go to HHN. And what's kind of crazy, too, is, you know, we were sitting and working today and kind of thought about it. And it's like, man, no HHN today. But guess what? Tomorrow night, we can go back. We can go back to HHN because it's Wednesdays through Sundays, which is great. So, HK, great having you on board, my man, again, as always, with the 10. We appreciate it so much. We'll literally, like, just let you guys know, we're in the preps right now of scheduling our video schedule, as you will, a content schedule for you guys for September and October and bits of November. And one of those videos that we have that we're currently in the talks about making and scripting here soon is our HHN food and drink video, which I am stoked for that. I'm really stoked for that. So all of the donations and stuff we're going to put towards the food, because this year I am planning to go very deep into the pockets when it comes to the food this year. I want to try as much as we can possible for it.
Everything that we've tried so far has been really good.
It has been. It has. Now, Steph just spoiled some things. We did try some stuff at HHN.
I mean, they saw the video.
Yes, but we did just to give you guys context of what we tried. We had the pizza fries. We tried one of the poutines, and we did the cordyceps corn dog. That is it.
Yes.
Right? When we do our food and drink video, and I'm thinking we're actually going to do 2 food and drink videos. We'll do one for the month of September, and then we'll do one for the month of October. And the month of October one usually is, it's kind of like the backup for the first one. In case we don't get to everything, we'll place those items in the second one. But what I'm planning for this food and drink video is that we're going to be visiting every food booth, and I'm going to be trying to get as much as we can possible. So all donations are literally going to go straight to that fund, because I want that to be a big video and all that stuff. So we have that on the way, and I'm really excited for that. And the food items we already did try, we will put in the upcoming videos anyways, because that cordyceps corn dog is freaking phenomenal.
It's really good.
I think of that like every 30 minutes or so that pops up in my mind, guys.
This is
I'm
really
craving
good.
that. I've already spent $50, maybe $60 on the quarter set corn dog over the past weekend. It's gonna be an expensive HHN this year for me.
It will be.
Very expensive. So, but yeah, we have that to get to and discuss as well, and talk about that with our schedule with you guys down the road, and all. But I think should we just start with a giveaway right now for the Pumpkin Man?
Sure.
You guys want to do what do you guys want to do? You guys want to do the first giveaway, because we have 3 to do, for the first copy, Blu-ray copy, by the way, signed by the Southridge team and stuff. All of them will be, but the final one, the big one with the poster and the signed copy as well, will have a personal message for you guys and stuff. Do you guys want to do the giveaway first? Or do you guys want to get into some HHN stuff? The choice is yours. Spam 1 for a giveaway, spam 2 for rankings list.
Also, Artemis with the $19.99 for Food and Beverage Fund. Thank you.
You think it's food and beverage, or is it food and brine fun? Food and brine fun. Artemis, great having you on the live stream.
I
Thank you
think
for the
the Food
$19.99.
and Brian Fund are like one and the same, so it's kind of redundant.
I'll tell you what, guys. I'm thankful for having Steph, because the food fund right here is starting to, it's gonna get there. It's gonna be one of those bulk off seasons in the winter and stuff, and we're gonna have to cut back for next HHN, because this is gonna be rough this year.
We also have Mark Comer, member for 12 months. Said we'll be there this weekend.
Let's go. There we go. Mark Comer with the 1 year with the
Nice.
Fright Club. Great having you on board, my man. Thank you so much for the support, but we'll be there this weekend.
And we will too. So
Holy
if you see
smokes,
us, say
this
hi.
is exciting. Yeah, and I do want to say this too. For everybody that, and I think, let me check. I might have it. I don't know if I do. Let me see. What I'll do is,
Javier said you'll be a bloater by the end of the HHN season.
thanks, Javier.
I think it's
I
funny.
currently already am, if you haven't figured it out.
Our food line's improving. Do you want to wait to get to that?
I'm sorry, what?
Someone asked if the food line's improved.
We will be getting into some of y'all's questions and stuff towards the end of the stream. And throughout the stream, we'll get to y'all's questions and all, but we are going to talk about the entirety of opening weekend from opening night to day 2 and day 3. And we'll explain that because, spoiler warning, it does improve big time, like dramatically. It's day and night from day 3 to what it was day 1. And we'll get into the deets and stuff like that when it comes up to that. But I want to pull this up real quick too. Let me go ahead and find it. Boom. All right, so ladies and gents, opening weekend, right? This is opening night. Is it even showing? No, it's not. There we go. Boom. So over on our Instagram page, we went ahead and posted this just after opening weekend, and we had we had an exciting time. It was fun. It was enjoyable. Some parts weren't. But I want to say right here, we had our first ever official Brian from Orlando, Brian and Stuff meetup, whatever you guys want to call it, hashtag under Vecna, where we got to meet some of you guys and stuff to kick off the HHN32 season, which was a lot of fun to be able to see you guys. And it was also terrible at the same time, like, because we got absolutely poured on.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. That is honestly something that, even though, like, I lost my shoes and stuff, and I'm pretty sure your pair too was kind of like ruined. We have to, like, get new shoes and stuff. And it was a rough night because of the rain. I honestly don't think I would have had it any other way with you guys, for those of you that we got to meet during the meetup, because that's like a memory we'll never forget of how we went through a hurricane for the first meetup. So that'll be one of those, like, things that we just joke about for the years to come. So the first ever meetup and stuff was success. We had a great time. We got to see you guys all out there. And for anybody and everyone that we actually saw throughout opening weekend, a huge thank you for you guys to coming up and saying hello to us and getting the chance to talk with you guys and talk about Horror Nights and what you guys think about the event, what's kind of going on. That, besides Horror Nights, that is like our favorite thing to do, is to be able to chat with you guys. Not just like people who watch us and stuff, because it means a lot to support and all that, but really to see the fans of Horror Nights, like true fans of HHN, to see what you guys think of the event. That's what we love to do, is to talk about this event. So seeing you guys enjoying it and to see what you guys think and all that stuff, it's pretty awesome. So
Justin said next time pack 4 ponchos, 2 for y'all and 2 for your equipment. We literally we brought like raincoats. We didn't think it was going to be that bad, but we brought raincoats and we ended up having to not put the raincoats on and just put the raincoats over the cameras. And
Yeah.
then we were just in the
I
rain.
mean, shout out to Valerie and Fish, because y'all two came in clutch with that one extra little poncho and stuff that you guys had that was able to help us with the
The one that
equipment
was
throughout
on
the
me.
night. Yeah.
Oh,
So like
yeah.
later in the night and stuff, we
I
really
don't-
used that one.
I was like literally huddling over the camera,
Right.
and someone just threw a poncho over me, and I was
wanna
like,
let me see if I can. I have a photo and a video. There goes the music. It just decided to leave. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Hold up, guys.
yeah. And someone
Minuto.
said lightning hit Transformers building. I think lightning hit I think there were like maybe 5 different lightning strikes that
Yeah.
hit within Universal,
in like
in like a
5
20-minute
minutes.
span,
I think it was like
yeah.
5 minutes and stuff. But there was one. I almost had it on video right by Animal Actors where we were hanging out outside by metal stanchions and stuff. There's one that hit like the scaffolding or like where the SpongeBob SquarePants store was and stuff.
Yeah.
There's one that hit like right there, and it honestly felt like a part of the sky just like fell.
It was
And,
crazy.
broke.
You feel it in your
Everybody.
soul.
Oh my gosh, like everybody was dropping to the ground on that one. But yeah, opening night was fun. We get to hang out with the crew. Here's a couple more photos of oh yeah, hey, by the way, here's the Pumpkin Man team, by the way. Now you can go stalk them and find them. But yeah, so we had a great time, as you can see, soaked, but obviously enjoying it as much as we did, even though it was chaotic.
Yeah.
But let me, I know I have a photo.
We
I
also
want to
have-
show you guys.
We also got another 20 from Mia Stonewall. And she said, here's another corn dog or 2 for y'all. I'm Mark Comer's wife. Oh, okay.
Oh, Mia, hey.
Maybe we'll see y'all this weekend. Can't wait.
Here's scratches for
Here's
Hondo.
scratches for Hundo.
Oh, he's knocked down. Oh, never mind. He
Oh,
just
no.
opened his eye.
He
No,
hit his
don't
eye.
look at him. Don't look at him. Don't feed to his soul. But anyways, Mia, thank you so much for the
Yeah,
20.
thank you.
Appreciate that. And we hope we get to see you guys out there. Like, you're always more than welcome to reach out to Steph and I to try to see where we're at and stuff. I will say I do apologize because a lot of people do reach out to me to try to meet up with us at the event. Well, when I'm at the event, I literally I'm fangirling, right? My phone is in my pocket. I'm just like excited. I'm just running around. So then by the time we're leaving, I look at my phone and I'm like, oh no. So I do apologize if I don't get back to you guys, especially this past weekend. We've just been so busy. We're just kind of soaking in the opening weekend and stuff and a lot of things that we had going on. So, but Mia with the 20, thank you so much. More corn dogs for me. I might just do a whole food video where I just eat as many of those corn dogs as I can. Those are so good.
That's scary.
But anyways, let's see. What do we have with the giveaway or the HHN?
It was very split.
It is pretty split, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see. You know what? My vote. I'm counting them. My vote goes to a giveaway.
Okay, then
We're doing a giveaway. We're doing a giveaway first. Pumpkin Man, sure. Yeah, I'm getting there. I was about to say this is a medium. I'm usually medium, but I think it's Southridge. I think it's. I need a large maybe. I think it's time for me to go to large. I mean, if I do like this and stuff, maybe that looks better, right? But I think it's more like it's from here. So let's go ahead and do a giveaway right now. Go ahead and do that. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is the first signed Blu-ray copy of the Pumpkin Man. We got 3 of them to get rid of to give away for you guys and stuff. So the first one up, what we'll go to do is we'll have you guys just spam in the chat. You guys spam Pumpkin Man in the chat, and at any point, whether it's in the next 10 seconds, 5 seconds, or 3 minutes, or 10 hours, I'll stop the chat, and whoever it lands on will be the winner of the first pre-ordered copy. And like I said, it's a pre-ordered copy, so the physical copies will be going out sometime to later September. It'll be shipped to our address. We'll get together with the Southridge team. We'll be able to sign them and stuff for you guys, and then that should be delivered around early October for you guys around the latest time period. So that'd be a perfect time for your spooky Halloween, October, fall type season. And that's one thing we say about this movie. We've been lucky enough to not only see the movie, but to be on set a couple times and see the team, working behind the scenes and stuff with the movie. And it's actually really cool. This is like your Halloween, like traditional type of like fall slasher, traditional killer movie, however you want to call it. Yeah. I don't want to don't want to spoil anything because there's some other bonuses inside of this too. So, Stephanie, whenever you say stop it, I shall stop it, and the winner will be the winner.
Stop.
Boom. Mr. Justin Sage. Congratulations.
Congrats.
All right, so there we go. All right, first giveaway winner, Justin. Congrats to you, my man, for winning the first signed Blu-ray copy, pre-order copy of The Pumpkin Man. I should have created some like animated effect when that happens. It's like, shoo, like Pumpkin Man comes up to the screen.
That'd be cool.
Oh man, all these ideas and not enough time. So congrats, Justin, my man. Also, Fright Club, awesome. It's good to see the Fright Club winning constantly. But we got 2 more to do giveaways and stuff. We'll be doing them throughout the stream around every 20 to 30 minutes or so. So keep an eye out, stick around, because the bigger one's coming up later tonight in the stream. So let's talk.
Yeah.
Opening weekend. Overall, I'm going to say I had an incredible time. This is probably one of the more enjoyable opening weekends I've had, but also the most polar feeling one I had. And what I mean by like most enjoyable is because we've gotten to meet so many of you guys in the event. And go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to say that we had a lot of team members actually let us know that they watch our videos. So if any of you are watching this, congrats on opening weekend. Great job.
How are you guys feeling? You guys I can imagine. We're tired. I can imagine you guys. We remember those days where opening weekend, it feels like it's like a hell week and stuff. But it was incredible to be able to go out there and to see a bunch of you guys and stuff. That was probably the best takeaway for us, and that's what we enjoyed the most. But that was the overall feeling, where we both were like, we had a great time. We enjoyed it, and we're excited for what's to come and stuff, especially as it progresses and gets better as time goes on. However, let's talk about opening night. Let's start with more of the negative side,
And then
it'll progressively get positive. So opening night, as you guys know, we had our meetup and stuff, which went fantastic. I showed you guys recently. We had our group photo. We went over to the stage screen for classic monsters, and we were one of the few, like the first groups to go to monsters, which is really exciting. However, it had torrential downpour. It was kind of like a hurricane for us. It was really crazy. I know a lot of you guys got to see some footage from that over opening night and stuff. But I guess, hey, HHN and rain on opening night, it's just hand in hand at this point.
And opening night is always kind of
hectic.
Like there's a learning curve for everybody. And not only, the ops, because especially when you have like torrential downpour and, lightning striking inside of the park, like they're not prepped for that. Yes, they're prepped for rain, but typically it's like, well, you still got to go out in the rain. Like we're an outdoor theme park, like you got to be in the rain. But then when you bring in like the safety of the guests being at risk with, how crazy it was, I think a lot of the team members were just not prepared for that.
Yeah.
And it's difficult when, you have all these teams that are spread out amongst the park. And we were talking about this, and it's definitely not, the ops team members like fault. I think it's more so like communication amongst everybody. We don't know for sure because we've never worked operations, but it just seemed like the first night, I don't know if it was the rain or just because it was opening night or a mixture of the two, but
I will say, like, the rain obviously did bum things out. The rain did influence feelings and stuff to be more towards the negative side. And I've had a couple people message me saying like, oh, like you can't blame opening night being bad because of the rain and stuff. I know the rain is not in Universal's control at all. It's in nobody's control at all with what happens with the weather. But what I've noticed and what's kind of disappointed me is like, how many opening nights do we need where it just seems like it's not fluid. It seems like the operation is kind of just chaotic it was busy and stuff, but Universal and Horror Nights has had busy nights in the past. They've had how many opening nights in the past? And, you know, and I want to say this, like, I'm not bashing Universal at all, because I'm going to get to that in a second as to why this is a good thing, right? This is a good thing. I want people to realize, like, this isn't bad. This is actually good, you know? So the operations and stuff, it felt like a mess. It felt like everything was slow and lethargic, you know. And I'll be honest, the energy from the scare actors too weren't really there.
And I was preparing for this conversation
Go ahead.
because I know how Brian is. He'll get into like his scare the first night and immediately be like going 110%.
I'm a maniac.
I'm not that way. Like, I need time to figure out my scare and get comfortable with it before. So I understand from like the first night, and especially the first few sets of the first night, like scare actors are still trying to figure out like what feels comfortable. Like,
well,
doing a scare.
Can I cut you off? Like Steph said, I go 110% from the beginning, but even for me, like, it does take a couple of days and stuff for me to figure out my scare as well.
Yeah.
So I want to put that. There's nobody that jumps into it and they have it right at the get-go.
Right. And I think two things that people who are on the other side don't know or don't realize is that you don't get, like, as characters, you don't get a ton of time to like rehearse and practice. You get like one night and maybe like 20 minutes in your scare to like try it out before, and that's not with guests, and it's completely different when there are guests there. So the first night really is like rehearsal. I mean, that's why they have team member preview, but even then, like, that's still, you know, only one night. And the other thing is that, like, it's awkward. Like, doing a scare is awkward.
Yeah.
Like, the first few times you do it, like, it feels uncomfortable. It doesn't feel natural. And then you will eventually kind of figure out, like, a rhythm and, like, what feels comfortable. And that's why, like, if people are asking us, like, should the first time I ever go and the only time I go be, like, opening night, we're always going to say, like, no, probably not.
Yeah. Opening night's great. Opening weekend's fantastic to experience, but we always recommend, and this is at any time, if you're like, should I just go like October 3rd? We're going to tell you, like, go as many times as you possibly can. Get the ultimate frequent fear pass and go every single night if that's possible. You know, like, I mean, seriously, right? That's how we feel with HHN. I will say, I had a couple of scare actor friends message me in opening night and for the next few days stating that they got caught up going to clock in for their shift, you know, to get prepared. They got caught up in that storm. So there's a couple of our scare actors and stuff that as they were going in, they got poured on. So I had a couple of people that I know of.
Yeah, and even the ops people are standing out there in the rain.
Oh yeah, the ops people all day in the rain. Really, nobody's having a good time, but it's in nobody's control. And like I was saying, I'm not blaming the rain for it and stuff. I just felt like, even though there was the weather issue and stuff, it felt like there were certain things that just didn't seem like it was control. The biggest problem that I felt like that there was the crowd control, right? Like, we knew it was going to be busy and stuff, but the food lines felt like the food lines were just going on their own direction. Like, the guests just got in and those were out of control. We had a couple of food lines merging with other food lines that we noticed where it was like,
and
what
like
line is for this
lines.
for? And then the house lines too. There was an issue of like the express pass on opening night. For some reason, the scanner machines, they weren't really working too well. So express line was getting backed up. There's a lot of issues of getting people verified and all. And like I said, I'm blaming Universal, I'm blaming the rain, and I'm blaming us as the guests. Because even I noticed some like guests going up to use express pass and stuff, they didn't have their tickets out to show proof of it, which backs up the line. So really, I felt like,
or not knowing like which line to go to.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it was kind of all of our faults, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is not a negative thing. This is a great thing because it picks up where when you go into night 2 and night 3, especially, there was no such problem. No. And that's what I'm saying. Where, you know, I hate that we had an issue for opening night like that, but when you saw the second night and the third night, how quickly Universal and their team was able to put together, what were the issues and what do we need to tackle, and they were able to fix it overnight. That's where I give like hats off and round of applause because.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
By the second night, like the first night, we even said to each other, they need to have one person that's doing the ADA passes and one person that's doing express passes at every single express line. You can't have one person doing both of them.
No, but they do. They do have one of each. What we were saying is they need an extra person to guide the line if there is a backup to make sure they're assisting those people.
But what I was saying was by the second and third night, it seemed like they had that figured out a lot better.
Yeah, we noticed more house op attendants at the front of the lines.
Because one thing that with like the express lines and with the ADA passes is with ADA, if it's over like 20 minutes, I think they have to get a return time, but then the team member has to like write down their return time.
Yeah,
so it's not
like
just
on a physical ticket.
So it's not just like looking at it and letting them go. They have to like write it down, how many people are in your party, all of that. And sometimes, especially that first night, there were groups of like 10, 15 people deep, like crowding in front of the express line, trying to get return times for ADA. And nobody was telling them, like, move to the side because Express Pass can't even get through.
Yeah, it was a little chaotic opening night. But, I say this from both spectrums. That's how opening night is. We expect opening night to be like that because that's how it's always been. It's always chaotic. They got to figure it out as much as the scare actors do. And I'm going to get to the scare actors in a second. But I will say, though, that because it's opening night and we expect that doesn't mean that it should happen. It would be great to kind of see them have one opening night where it's like it was fluid.
Yeah.
And that didn't seem the case.
And I think a lot of the reason why this happens every single year and why it will continue to happen every single year is that these ops teams they're seasonal. So they're like, some of these people are brand new to working Universal. It's their first night working for Universal in general, and imagine the crowds.
Yeah, and then we're a crazier type of people than the normal.
And this is the first time they're working on this team together. And like we were saying with, scare acting, it's completely different when you have an audience. It's completely different. Like, you can talk about, like, this is what you do if this happens. But when there's actual guests, like, a lot of the team members, like, you don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why the first night is always kind of a mess. And I think it will continue to always kind of be a mess. And we just have to kind of expect it.
And that's the thing, too. It doesn't help when it pours. It's not that it just rained. It poured down.
Yeah,
we had some crazy lightning, crazy wind. But for them to even be able to pull it off and stuff for that night, it's fantastic. It's great. I'm glad that we ended up being able to even enjoy HHN. And what was really cool is that the rain did stop eventually at the night, and we did get the scare zones out there, which was great because what sucks about opening night when it rains is like that, you don't get your opening ceremony, which is kind of a bummer because that's trying to kick it off. At the same time, you don't get the scare zones out there, so it doesn't feel like an HHN night. Which, let's talk about the scare zones, and let's talk about the houses for opening night, right? The energy was a little off, right? Which did improve drastically by the second night. But everything in the houses looked amazing. The scenery for these houses, like Universal continues, and it's one of those things where, like, I'm not even surprised by this. I don't say this like, wow, like I'm surprised at how good it was. No, like, it's the creative team and those people who work in developing HHN when it comes to from the drawing board and the ideas to getting the physical work done and all to the hiring process and getting the scare actors in there. Everything looks top notch. There really isn't another event, in my opinion, that beats Horror Nights when it comes to that. Horror Nights is second to none when it comes to that. All the houses we went through looked phenomenal, right? Like I said, there's an energy play into it, but that picked up by the second and third night.
I feel like you can't even look at the first night as like part of our ranking. Like, we don't even count the first night.
No, we never really do.
No, because for all the reasons that we just said.
For instance, that's why, like, in our opening night video, we don't really like, what was your ranking? What was your favorite? What was it? Because we know it's going to change, but also like opening night doesn't count. You just get to go and see the scenery, see the storyline, and then that's how we do it. The opening night, we go in to actually see the house, to see the story, see what the vibe is, what the energy is. You know, did we like that look and stuff? Which for all of them we did. The second and third night is now let's look at the scare actors, right? Let's get in their face. Let's see what the expressions are. Let's see what the masks are. Let's see how they are operating. And let's see by the third night how both of those elements work side by side and creating the overall atmosphere of the house.
Yeah.
Opening night, I will say I was surprised with a couple. Blood Moon Dark Offerings was one of those houses that I was like very surprised with. A lot of people were saying expected to be very beautiful, and it was. I'm very, very happy that Universal and the HHN creative team put an actual moon in it. And I will say this for those of you,
spoiler.
Yeah, for those of you that are watching and stuff, we're not gonna really do spoilers. We're not getting into full details of the house. We'll mention a few little things and stuff, but they're not anything that's gonna ruin your experience with the house. We're gonna stay away from the spoilers. We'll do our best and stuff. If we have anything that's kind of a spoiler or whatever, we'll give you guys a little spoiler warning when it comes to that. But with Blood Moon, very beautiful, right? That was in our top 3 easily when we went through it.
And that was lower on our anticipation list.
That was number 8.
And the reason why it was low on my anticipation list was because I was like, it's like cults, it's like, you know, colonial. We've seen this how many times?
Yeah.
But we went through that and I said, like, yes, it might be something that we've seen before, but it's done better than I've ever seen it. And it was just amazing.
Yeah.
It was number 1. It ended up as number 1 on, I think, both of our lists after
For that night.
For that night. Which,
period.
that
night.
Yeah.
For that night.
Okay.
Another house that extremely surprised us, I think this was the biggest surprise of all of them, was The Exorcist. If you guys remember getting into opening weekend, The Exorcist was our 10th and most anticipated. This is a top 3 house too. I was very surprised on how well Exorcist was. And the lone factor, the number one reason, and like I said, all houses were beautiful. I loved the look and the layout and the stories for all the houses. So to really put one up against the other based on that, it's kind of hard because it's detailed based on what property and origin we're talking about. But The Exorcist, holy smokes. When I talk about being a scare actor, right? And putting everything you got into your character, into your role, and performing, you know, being in front of the audience 24/7 and giving everything that you can into a character, The Exorcist delivered on that all the way through for me, from start to finish. Every time we went through that house, and this is really for the entire weekend. Every single time we went through the Exorcist house, I was astonished by what I was seeing. Shout out and props to all the scare actors in the house. There were multiple times where one of the girls would come out, and like I said, this no spoilers on this, but their facial expressions, the way that they were really buying into their character and showing it. Like I was face to face with one of the girls and seeing the way she was expressing herself with, you know, her mouth and the eyes and just like the way she was looking. I was like, holy shit, like this is all make believe. This ain't real. And like there was a part of me where I was kind of like, this is a little scary, to be honest. And that's the thing. And HHN creatives, they'll say this all the time. The scare actors are like the blood of HHN, right? They're the soul, like the fire, the energy of HHN.
You can walk through an empty house and yeah, it looks cool, but it's not a haunted house.
Yeah. The scare actors are the heart of the house. Without them, the house is not alive. When you have them, the house does come to life. And that's one of those houses at this year's event. And there's a couple of them, but that was one of those houses at this year's event where I was like, I solely love that house because the scare actors alone.
Yeah, and I remember when we were doing our anticipation list, I had said like the only way that I could see that going up and being like high on our list is if it's really scary, and it is. It's the scariest house for this year.
Yeah, I easily. Well, It's up there.
It's
I
up
think,
there. It's
I
up
think
there.
there's one house that really crept its way up, and I was very impressed with it. But
I think I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
I think it's my number one for the year.
Yeah,
so
we'll,
far.
we'll get into that. We'll get into that. But yeah, Exorcist surprised me. Very well done. The house was beautiful and stuff. And that's the thing. I was really worried about it because obviously it's about the movie that nobody's ever saw yet because it hasn't come out. It's October 6th. But it's based on the trailer. And to be honest, there were scenes that I saw in this that I didn't see in the trailer and vice versa, you know? So really, like, if you went through this house, that is serving as a trailer for this movie. I would watch this movie. Like, honestly, I didn't really care to see this movie before, but now going through that house, I'm like, I kind of need to watch this movie. Regardless if it's gonna be great or not, the house rocks.
Yeah.
And I was surprised by it, and it's been performing very well this opening weekend. So any scare actor, if you guys are watching any of the house ops, anyone who works with The Exorcist and stuff, job well done. Blumhouse,
Yeah.
hey, guess what? Surprise, you're hearing this for the first time. Blumhouse, great job. HHN Creative, great job with The Exorcist, because you guys truly did surprise me with that one. And I'm not the one. I'm a hard critic, so I'm not the one to really give freebies. But that one was wow, that was good.
I do have to read off Javier's comment because I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Because The Exorcist changed their release date to the 6th so that it wouldn't compete with the Taylor Swift movie. And he said Exor-Swift is a great name, kind of like Barbenheimer.
Oh yeah, because they had to change it.
I think that's funny. They should have kept it.
That would have been cool. Extra Swift. So we talked about Blood Moon, and we're gonna kind of what we'll do is we'll talk about the houses and stuff and opening weekend. And if you guys are just joining us, what's up? Welcome. Tonight we're talking about opening weekend. Opening weekend from opening night to the second night to the third night. And we're also going to be doing a couple of giveaways for Today's a Big Day with the Pumpkin Man film. Pre-orders are now live for you guys to check out over at the Scream team releasing. I keep wanting to say the Scream team releasing.com. Yeah, Scream Squad. But Scream team releasing.com. They have some of those up and going.
Our man, Jim Daniels, jumped in the chat just to
Up
talk
Chucky
about
lived
Chucky.
up to being the worst house, but I hate that The Last of Us was right there close to the worst.
Ooh.
We'll get to that in a second, Jim. We'll get to that in a second, because to be honest,
He's not wrong.
I have to say something about The Last of Us that I'm really disappointed in. We'll get to that in a second. But Jim, hey, great having you on board, my man. Good seeing you here for tonight's live stream, because we got a lot to talk about, my man. Lots to talk about. But thank you for the 50. Too kind. That's too much. But we'll put it towards towards our food video. If you weren't here earlier, where I'm gonna attempt to do one of the biggest food videos I've ever done. We'll see. We'll end it at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much, my man. Right there with you, Michael. I don't know. I put Valerie up on the screen. Why not? There you go, Valerie. Hope you enjoyed that. So we'll go in. We'll do a clockwise motion around the park when it comes to the houses and stuff. We'll talk about the scare zones, and then we'll do our rankings with you guys, where Steph and I kind of discuss that and where we believe what goes where.
Also, I do want to say that before we talk about like how we feel about the houses, I do think that Brian and I do have a little bit of a different perspective on the houses. We don't look at it as like, oh, we had fun in that house, or we like that house. We kind of have like a perspective on like, could it have been better, or did they do the best that they could have with this theme or whatever, this IP or whatever. So like, I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, I really liked The Last of Us. It's not that we didn't like it, and we'll get to this, but I think we have like just a different perspective.
And Steph brings a great point with that. Just like horror movies, where it's very subject based on your personal interest and style, subjective. It's the same way with the house. We tend to look at the houses at HHN from a very different perspective from most fans. We don't just go in there being like, is it a fun house or not? Because majority, 99.9% of the time, yes, it is. Majority of these houses, all of them, are fun houses to go through. It's great to have in the event. But we look at it from more of a creative aspect of, you know, where it's like we've been blessed enough to be on the other side of the mask, on the other side of the scare, to see and understand how some things operate within the house, whether it comes to energy, are they flowing well? Like, you can tell when a house is on it, like Exorcist, when you hear scares from the beginning of the house to the end of the house, and they're constantly flowing through, these scare actors know the timing, and it's
Which
where
can take some time.
Yeah, it does take time. It does. It really does. But that's what surprised me so much about The Exorcist. It seems like they were just on it. It seems like they've been doing this for months, because when you can tell a house is alive, obviously the fans are talking about it, but as a scare actor, when you're involved in there and stuff, you hear the train coming down, right? And there is an energy and a flow when, and this is kind of a funny little tag, you'll like this, but the heartbeats of all the scare actors in The Exorcist were in sync. And I'm not trying to promote the movie by that, but
right.
they're legitimately in sync. Everybody's in sync with each other. They know their part. They're playing their part, and it's adding to the house overall.
Yeah,
and that's what we look at when we go in the house.
Yeah, and it's more so like we want to go into a house and feel like we are in that scene and those characters like belong there, rather than seeing a scare actor come out and try to scare us. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like there are some houses where you can tell like it's like hit my trigger, come out. And it's like that kind of takes us out of it. Mm-hmm. Whereas like with The Exorcist, like those like scare actors, it doesn't feel like they're scare actors. It feels like they're those characters.
Yeah,
like just living in that house.
It truly feels like you're in the movie.
Yeah, it
really does. Yeah. So and we have a super chat we'll get into in a second.
Yeah, and just like lost it, but Sandy Ben said like our ranking and how we feel about the houses should not discourage anyone from going in them. We think that every house like this year is good. Yeah. Like there's no like that was really bad.
Yeah, there is no bad house. They're all great. They really are. And it's based on your style, your interest, what you're into. It also depends on your timing. We noticed we actually had bad timing opening night, because a lot of people were telling us like, oh my God, did you see this and that? We're like, no, we didn't see that. That wasn't there at all. And so I feel like our timing on opening night wasn't really there, because you could be getting cast change. We've gone through a couple times as a cast change was happening too. So it's like, oh man, that's honestly the worst when a cast change happens. But it depends on your timing and a lot of other different factors and stuff. However, I will say this as a spoiler for everybody, opening night to night number 3, all of the houses improved. Whether they were our top house or our bottom house, they all improved. And that's the one thing that I said that when we were kind of bashing opening night, I'm like, this is actually a good thing, is for how well they picked up and they improved from night number 1 to night number 3. Like I'm sitting here like, man, I'm excited to do all the houses again tomorrow night, because I know they're already that much better. And this is one of those years where we've said so many times, this is going to be a strong year. This really is. And it's performing as such. The one thing I have mentioned for the past how many months, and you guys will recall this in past live streams and videos, is I'm worried about the logistics and the layout of the park, of the event as a whole. And the biggest problem that we faced with opening night was the layout and the logistics of the lines and everybody kind of having these big bottleneck areas and stuff that we noticed. So that's really the biggest issue that we took away from opening night. So, but let's continue with the houses and stuff. We actually have a super chat here from I Live for Airtime with a 5 saying, I will defend Stranger Things to my dying breath. Been in the trenches defending it for the past weekend.
So this is probably the most divisive house.
Yeah, and this is the next house too we're getting into.
Because we have talked to so many people and it's like 50-50.
Either you love it or hate it.
Half of them say that they absolutely love it, like number 1 or 2 house, and half of them say like they're extremely disappointed in it. And I feel like I'm the only person that's kind of like midway on that, because like there are scenes in the house that I really don't like, and there are scenes in the house that I really, really do like. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's kind of like a 5 out of 10 for me.
And I'll agree with you. So we're on the same page.
And also, I know Michael said like it wasn't scary. I don't think the first house was scary at all, but it was a really good house. Yeah. So I don't think it necessarily needs to be scary. The show itself is not like...
And to be honest, I'm kind of jumping ahead here. Like Dueling Dragons isn't scary, but it's same thing like with Dead Man's Pier, where it's not scary, but it's a beautiful house. It's a good house to go through. Mm-hmm. That's how Stranger Things feel. And it was never really meant to be like a scary house. if that makes sense. Opening night when we did Stranger Things, it was the last house we went through.
We were tired. We were cold.
Yeah, it was
we
tired.
were
It was cold. Everybody was tired. It was 2 a.m., right? We got in at literally, what, 1:53? I think it was 1:53 a.m. when we got in line for Stranger Things. And when we got it at that, I really had high expectations for Stranger Things. You know, we're big fans of the show. We're big fans of Halloween Horror Nights. Even bigger fans of Halloween Horror Nights. And so this combination, we're like, this is going to be awesome. And I'm looking forward to it. There is a warning we have to say, though. When it comes to IPs, intellectual properties, the creative team, it's really hard for them to go beyond the bounds of what the show is, because they have to stick to what the property is and what the property wants, right?
Yeah, what they want is the main thing.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people, and I'm going to defend Horror Nights with this. I'm going to defend Stranger Things with this, right? By the way, I live for HHN. Thanks for the 5, my man. We're getting into this part good now. I will defend the creative team in the Stranger Things house for how it is, because the idea of it wasn't Stranger Things season 4, but it's step in the mind of Vecna, step into Vecna's lair, right? It's really centered and focused around Vecna than it is the kids or Eleven or Hopper. That we are following Vecna. We're not really following anywhere else. So you got to look at the scenes where Vecna plays a part in, and we're kind of following that, right? Now, that's why we didn't really have like the Russia scene. You didn't have like the California scene. You didn't have like certain scenes and stuff that you wanted to see from the show, which it does suck. I really think those scenes would have been great. It did feel like the house was a little short, in my opinion. And the one thing that I'm going to bash is that they use screens in this house. There was a lot of those like screens, like big like screens and stuff that they had. I am a huge fan of when Horror Nights does the practical things, and I know things are hard and, you know, it's costly and it's expensive, but there were and I'm not going to try to spoil it, but there were a couple of scenes that when I saw them as screens, I was like, we could have easily done that as practical effects and it could have worked and it would have looked a lot better in my opinion. So when I saw that, I'm immediately like a little bummed out, because I'm like, I really wanted to see it practically, because how else did we watch Stranger Things season 4? On a screen. I didn't want to go in a house and see those elements on a screen. I wanted to physically be immersed in that. Yeah. And that was my biggest takeaway from that, was when I immediately saw those screens, I was brought down by a lot.
I do agree. Robbie said they focused a little too much on Eddie than they did any other character, especially Max. Because like Vecna's like connected to Max, but then, and it's supposed to be like his mind, but then they do have Eddie a lot in there, and I think that's more of a like kind of a marketing thing.
Yeah, I think the Eddie amount is fine. I do think that the house it felt short. Because there was a lot of scenes and stuff, even the scenes that they showed, that they could have really elaborated on and stuff. And there were certain things that it just, walking through that house, I just felt kind of like, like, oh, I wish this could have been a little more like this and all. But there were, like, to go on a positive note, there were some really good scenes. Like seeing the trailer at the beginning and stuff was pretty cool. Seeing that whole scene. Getting to go into Vecna's like mind and layer and all that stuff. Was pretty cool. That was really good. And they do use a screen to project the red and all that stuff. I wasn't really crazy about that. However, you can't really do that physically unless you put a lot of money and time into that. So like that was the one that I was fine with. But and we're not trying to spoil too much, but the Eddie on top of the trailer with Dustin scene was pretty cool.
It was really cool. That's Steph my favorite room in the house. I think that was done really well. I know we don't like the screens, but I think it worked for that scene. That's exactly how I pictured it, like in my mind when I was like, they're gonna have that scene. That is exactly how I pictured it, and I liked it a lot. I think Eddie should have a guitar. I don't know why he doesn't, but
I see everybody wants Eddie to have the guitar. I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad it was him and Dustin, like they were fighting and stuff.
Yeah, but he could be swinging the guitar around.
I get that, but that didn't happen like in the show, and there's a couple things, but I'm glad that it wasn't just him on the guitar and Dustin's just kind of like sitting there, like like I like that they're the fact that they're interacting and stuff. I thought that was a good touch and stuff. I also you guys may not care about, but if Michael, Mike Aiello, if you're watching, or any of the other creatives, what I thought was genius with that scene was the height that they had Eddie and Dustin on. The question of how high up do we have these? Do we have them on a full trailer? High up? Do we have them like 2 feet up? And it's like the audience is on the trailer. I think where they had them positioned was perfect. It was just like chest height, where it was high enough where you looked up and you felt like they were on the trailer, but it wasn't too high where you could be missing certain things if they were too far back or not. And even the way that you came into the room and wrapped around and stuff. I thought that was a very specific detail that creative touched on that I thought was nailed perfectly.
I also loved the scene that they have where they go through like where they're like falling through in the trailer onto the mattress.
The upside down.
That was cool.
That was actually a good scene. My favorite part of the house was just hearing Dustin's voice go,
bada bada boom!
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, okay, cool.
I think the only thing that makes, for me, the only gripe that I have with that house is the costuming, unfortunately.
Of Vecna.
Vecna wasn't great, and the Steve casting was not great either. Or it's not even the casting, it was the wig.
Yeah,
but
the wig
that's like
great,
nitpicky.
Yeah, we're nitpicky, guys. We're really
But
nitpicky.
at least the Vecna costumes that we saw late, like the last hour, I don't know if it was just because like of the use of the whole like night or what, but they did not look good.
Yeah, and this is funny because Valerie even said she didn't notice the gate above her. When Steph and I went through a couple of houses, I had to keep reminding Steph, look up. And this was in multiple houses because Steph is one of those where she's looking at the scares and things here. And yeah, Steph usually does that, where most of the time when we go to her house, I'm usually looking this way, Steph's usually looking that way. And there's multiple times in different houses where you have to look up. You have to look beyond to see some of these details to soak it in. I can't tell you how many times I was like, Steph, look up, look. And she was like, oh.
Yeah.
And yeah, so.
I do agree that the casting for 11 and also for 1 were really good.
Yes. The casting for 1, I was surprised with how well, because I was like, who is this?
That's why I kind of wish that the it's either the second or third one that you see, it's a mask, and I kind of wish they just did prosthetics on like.
I thought it could have been better just
someone
as
that looked like
just
him.
Like, and it doesn't have to be too much. It could be just a simple one, because we can obviously tell like he is in that transition phase, as you will and stuff. However, I think we spent a lot of time on Stranger Things.
Yes,
that was Stranger Things. It wasn't to where my expectations were, and I was really like a little bummed out about it. But when we went through it opening night, it was at the bottom of my list, 10th place, dead last. Well, because of expectations, I give it a 10. When we went through it the second night, and did we go through the third night as well? I think the third night. I thought we did do the third night.
No.
Check, because I think. Hold up, one second. Steph and I were also trying to keep up with how many times. No.
2.
Okay, so the second night we went through it, it improved drastically.
Yeah.
The scares were getting there, that they were figuring out, the characters figuring out. It's still the things that bum me out about it. I'm just very nitpicky on certain parts of the costuming, fitting, the screens and stuff, the lighting. Certain parts of the lighting shouldn't be too bright in certain scenes because you can definitely tell it's just a screen and all. They're just little nitpicky things like that. But overall, like, it's still an enjoyable house, and we did have a lot of people say that they loved Stranger Things, which if you did, awesome. I'm glad you guys did, because that's what we care about. We want to make sure everybody just has a good time. Whether Steph and I hate it, if everybody else loved it, perfect. I'm happy with that then. Sure, that's just our personal touch. So that's Stranger Things. So cool.
So moving on. Hello? Moving on to, what is the next one? Dueling Dragons. I don't know. Stop.
Lay down. Here, can you fix his blanket over his tail?
I don't know if you guys can
guys.
hear that knocking, but it's his tail.
Oh no, just lift it over the tail. Lay down, buddy. Just stay there. It's like you were sleeping. Just stay asleep. He woke up. He's like, okay, time to ruin things.
Right. So the next one is.
Should we do? Is this a good part to do the second giveaway?
Sure. Go ahead.
Should we do the second giveaway? Take a little intermission. And like I said, if you guys are just joining us, oh, what's up? Welcome. The post-opening weekend live stream. We are we're talking about the houses. We're going to talk about the scare zones. We did talk about kind of the operational things for opening weekend and what we thought of. And then towards the end, we're going to go ahead and rank our house list. And each week when we do our live streams and stuff, we're going to go ahead and do an updated house ranking. We'll also tell you guys how many times we went through houses and kind of give you guys the update progress as it goes. And we are also doing giveaways for the Pumpkin Man film. I'm repping one of the shirts right now, the Pumpkin Man. Pre-orders just went live today over on ScreamTeamReleasing.com. I'm actually going to go ahead and drop the link for you guys to check out in the chat. Let me go ahead and paste that. Boom. That stuff gets all settled. There we go. So, do you guys want to go ahead and do the second giveaway for the Pumpkin Man? We're going to be doing a signed, well, this is all pre-order, but it'll be a signed Blu-ray disc of the Pumpkin Man. Dun, dun, dun. Also, I think I can, let me see if I can pull this up. For those of you, so you guys can actually see what it kind of looks like. Because it's just the pre-orders and stuff, so this expect this to come in the mail for you guys around early October. But this is kind of what it looks like. Pretty cool, huh? And even better, they have a VHS copy as well to purchase. Like, that's awesome. Steph and I will probably be getting that to put up on the shelf. But yeah, Pumpkin Man. So you guys can check that out. Oh, I didn't even show it on the screen. There you go. All right. I got it. Boom, there we go. So the VHS, which is really cool. They get a VHS piece as well as the Blu-ray, a signed Blu-ray with the poster inside, and then a regular DVD. But make sure you get Blu-ray. If not, you can get the VHS. You got to get that to go along with it. So check out Scream Team Releasing and look for the Pumpkin Man. So you guys ready to go ahead and do the second giveaway? You guys know what to do. Spam in the chat, the Pumpkin Man. And we'll go ahead and select a lucky winner. Yeah, the cover is incredible. It really is. The team over at Southridge and all the folks over there that was helping out with it did a fantastic job. The music for it, are you good? The music for it is incredible. The everything good? Is that your phone?
Yeah, I just dropped it.
The artwork and stuff, everything is really phenomenal with this. We're going to do the second giveaway now.
Cool.
All right. I'm looking at the timer right now, and I'm waiting for the timer to get to a specific time. But how about this? I see we're at 47 likes. If we can get to 60 likes, I'm immediately stopping the name right now before it gets to the timer, whichever comes first. So we need 13 more likes, and I'm immediately stopping it. Whoever gets it, gets it. You guys know how it is. Spam the chat, Pumpkin Man, give it a like. We're at 52 right now to get a one-of-a-kind pre-ordered copy of the Pumpkin Man. Like I said, we got to be humbled enough and or blessed enough to be able to be on set with the team and actually see the movie, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, guys. This is one of your like traditional like Halloween October type of movies. Boom, stopping it. Alexa Lobbins, congratulations!
Woohoo!
Right on the 60 dot.
Congrats.
Also, I just realized, Southridge, I hope you're not spamming the chat. I'm not going to give you guys your own copy. But hey, huge congratulations, Alexa. Everybody, can we get congrats, Alexa? Is that another Fright Club member as well?
Yeah.
Let's go. So 2 for 2 with the Fright Club members repping the giveaways. Been pretty darn good with the giveaways, guys.
Nice.
So Alexa, congrats. By the way, Justin and Alexa, if you guys can reach out to me, whether it's on Discord or on Instagram and stuff privately, and we'll get with you guys with the details. I also do want to say to everybody who won last week's giveaway, we'll be getting with you guys shortly. We've just been so behind because of opening weekend and just enjoying the way things were going. We'll get back with you guys on the details. Just make sure you either reach back out to me, just to kind of give me a reminder, or if not, we'll reach out to you guys. And hopefully this week, if not next week, we should be getting that stuff going out and stuff because holy smokes, time has been flying and it's just been so busy. So, but congrats again, Alexa, for winning the signed Blu-ray copy of The Pumpkin Man.
Jason also asked how they joined the Fright Club. So if you go to our YouTube channel,
Let me go ahead and I'll grab a link real quick for you.
Okay, that works too.
Let me grab a link. Un momento, people. One second. Let me see. So I'll go ahead and I'll place the link for the Fright Club if you guys want to join the Fright Club. We do have some special things planned for the Fright Club coming up soon, as well, that we hope to post for all of you guys to check out.
She said, my fiance just got home and I told him to shut up so I could join the giveaway. Well, it definitely worked in your favor.
There you go. You tell him because he did as you asked. You won the giveaway. There we go. Perfect. So there's the I put the Discord. Don't listen to me, guys. That link right there. If you think it's the Discord, click on it. It's actually for the Fright Club. If you guys want to join the Fright Club, that's what it is. Sorry. I put the wrong link in there. But anyways, so there is one more giveaway to do, and this is the bigger giveaway for the Pumpkin Man. It is a signed Blu-ray copy of the Pumpkin Man, and it also is one of our giant 24x36 posters, signed and all, for the Pumpkin Man. I have it here. I'm not going to open it up and stuff fully. Actually, I'll open it up for the audience. You get one of these bad boys, all signed and all. This would be so awesome to put up in the room or in the house somewhere to represent the new icon coming for this Halloween, the Pumpkin Man.
The new icon.
The new icon. All right, and then stuff's gonna roll out. We're gonna be much better about this and stuff. We'll be doing that a little bit later, but I do want to put up too. And yes, Diana, I'll start accepting Discord stuff pretty soon. I just haven't had the chance to get on it. But I'm going to put this here. We're going to take a little break. I'm going to take care of Hondo because he's starting to get antsy. I want you guys to check this out real quick. Let us know what you guys think.
Editing the script, and there's a lot of DNA that lives in this movie. A lot of the original Pumpkin Man short films, a lot of Demon of Fall, but I don't think this movie would be half the movie it was if we didn't live in Orlando and I couldn't go to Halloween Horror Nights, because going to Horror Nights that year was a godsend, because they had the Wicked Growth Realm of the Pumpkin haunted house that year. Basically, I could get off work, go to Halloween Horror Nights, and then go through the Wicked Growth. I think I maxed out at 7 times one night. And then I would come home and write the script, because I was right in that mindset. Me, Janae, Jeff, and Nick, we would get on Skype calls and start talking about the movie and what do we need to do, who wants to write what, and eventually we had this script.
Well, there we go. So a little sneak peek inside of the making of the Pumpkin Man, and seeing that it's inspired by a pretty cool house, right? Wicked Growth. So you'll see a lot of inspiration from it inside of the film. Obviously, there's pumpkins everywhere. Surprise. Southwards, if you guys are here, how many pumpkins are in the film? Do you know? Is that one of those little Easter eggs that you guys can give us the updates on? Truly, I wonder how many pumpkins are inside of the Pumpkin Man film. At least 200, I would say, right?
I don't know.
At least
207.
207. So I was close. 207 pumpkins throughout the film.
Also, we had Adam gifted 5 memberships. So thank you for that.
Hey, shout out to Adam. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the Fright Club to Diana, Katie, Jason, Tyler Loves Theme Parks, Joseph.
It's 5.
I think that's it.
There we go. So, Adam, thank you so much for gifting 5, and welcome aboard the Fright Club. New folks, how are you guys doing? Welcome to the Fright Club.
There you go.
And then copyright strike. And then Bear in the Big Blue House is going to show up and take our channel.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. So, but there we go. So we still have one more giveaway to do, and we'll do that a little bit later in the live stream. But we have to continue on. I realize we're at an hour and 15 minutes. We were planning to do only an hour and 30. Stuff's looking at me saying, yeah, Brian, you lied. We'll get to that. This might be a long live stream. Who knows? We'll see. I'm in no rush.
We have a lot of houses to talk about.
And scare zones. And then our ranking. And a giveaway.
All right. So next house is...
So next house around the order is Dueling
I
Dragons.
keep wanting to say Dungeons and Dragons.
It kind of feels like that, right? But Dueling Dragons, Choose Thy Fate. Steph, what did you think of the house?
I love this house. I think it's awesome. I think it's very similar. Okay, so I think it is the Dead Man's Pier house for this year. It is beautiful. It's massive. It's an awesome house. It's not very scary, but I think the reason why it works for me, whereas like Dead Man's Pier didn't work as much, is because it's not super scary, but the actors have a ton of energy. And
it's not a like sad house.
Exactly. And that's why Dead Man's Pier was very like effective in what it was trying to do, but that's just not my cup of tea.
Yes, I like that.
Whereas like this house, also extremely effective and my cup of tea. So I really like this one. I just think it's awesome.
You see that comment? Justin Sage. I'm gonna put this up here real quick. Also, this is the closest Brian may be getting to White Walkers, LOL.
Yes, that's what I said. The ice warlocks or whatever. Right when we walked through, I went, "Oh my god, it's the Night King! It looks just like the Night King."
So, fun fact: every time we go to walk in this house, and we went to Dueling Dragons 3 times. Once each night. Every time I go up to this house, I legitimately play the Game of Thrones main theme on my phone as I'm about to walk through, because that's what I feel. And I've been saying this for so long. If you guys have been around with us for a while, I have been wanting a Game of Thrones house for the longest. That is my dream house for a specific episode. So much so that I have a blueprint of the layouts and the scenes and some drawings for it because of how much I want this. And when they announced Dueling Dragons, I went, this is an opportunity to see how far we can get there without doing it exactly.
Also, I have to mention this because Brian was giving me crap about this over the weekend, and I'm happy to know that I'm not the only one. So Elizabeth said in the media videos, so many of them got to the end and couldn't figure out if they won or lost. We had like a 10-minute conversation because he kept saying like, "Oh, you won." And then when I went to, because we did opposite sides.
Okay, real quick. For those of you who have not seen our opening night video, first of all, do so. What are you doing here if you have? I'm kidding, right? If you haven't seen it, this may be new for you guys, but when we did Dueling Dragons, the very end of the house, there is legitimately just like they had on the ride where you had to choose either fire or ice. You had to choose one or the other. This is a choose path house, which we've been talking about. Could it actually happen at HHN? Could they pull it off? And it works well for this. It's a little weird, but it works, right? It's exciting. And what I was worried about is that the line chooses one path and everybody just goes down that route without actually being able to split off. And I've noticed as we've gone through multiple times that people were choosing different. Even people in the same group were like, "Oh, we'll go this way, you go that way." And people were choosing different ones, which is great for the scare actors in those endings where it doesn't feel empty for a while. It's constantly people going through. But when we got up there, I was thinking, fire, fire, fire. I'm gonna choose fire like I did the ride. Steph, however, made her decision as she went along the way to where the ice effects in the house were so great. And I agree. I think the ice effects were my favorite in the house. When it came to that, Steph chose ice. So when you went through that little portal part, the little curtains or whatever, you move that, it says choose your path, fire or ice. And Steph was in front of me. She started going to ice, and I'm already, my decision's made because Steph was a little in front of me. So I was kind of running up to her, and I started running left saying fire, fire, fire. And I chose that. And I'm realizing Steph's not in front of me. So I went, crap. I turn around before I get into that room. I turn around and I see the back of Steph's head going into ice. And I just went, no, we chose different. So I got to go through fire by myself. Steph got to go through ice by herself. And Steph's ending and my ending were different. There are 4 different endings you can get.
So I heard one of the RAP tour guides explain it really well, and it made way more sense to me than what Brian was trying to say. But essentially you can pick either Pyrock or Blizzrock.
Which,
And
dude, this house is awesome.
anyway, so
I'm sorry. It's awesome.
So you can pick fire or ice, and the endings, there's 4 endings. So either you pick ice and Merlin wins and defeats ice, or ice wins and defeats Merlin. Or you go fireside and fire defeats Merlin, or Merlin defeats fire. And those are the 4 endings essentially. And you win if Merlin wins.
If Merlin is in your ending.
I was getting confused because I was like, if you pick fire and the fire guy wins, like technically doesn't that mean you win? But I guess no, it's only if Merlin wins because you're trying to save the kingdom.
Yeah.
Not trying to
in the
pick
beginning
the
of the
side
house.
that wins.
In the beginning of the house, when you go under the tree that Merlin's practically trapped to and stuff, you can hear him saying, get to the book to, basically stop the warlocks, from getting to the book. You want to get the spell book for Merlin and stuff. So depending on which path you choose, if you have Merlin there and stuff, what does he say? He's like, yeah, you saved the kingdom.
He says, you've saved the kingdom.
Yeah, you've saved the kingdom, or something like that. And I've only gotten that once.
I got it both times.
3 times, all 3 times.
All 3 times.
Steph has saved the kingdom undefeatedly so far. But because she chose ice the first night, I chose fire the first night. Then we're like, okay, the second night we're going to swap, which I was thinking, well, I'm going to get the alternate ending. And sure enough, I did. I chose ice, but I still lost. And Steph had fire that night, and she won with Merlin. So this time we decided to go through
fire again.
We decided to go through fire the third time, thinking, okay, well, it should swap over, but it didn't. Merlin on that side won, and I was like, well, that's because of Steph.
Yeah.
So we went through it for the first time together on the third night. And I'm not going to try to spoil anything for this house if you guys haven't seen it, because this is one of those more like, just wow, like houses. Like this is like my vibe, because it's not even like Halloween Horror Nights. It's just really cool to experience.
I remember when Brian was talking about Game of Thrones before, and he was like, oh, and then there's a big dragon. And I was like, how are they going to put a dragon in a house?
They put 2 in a house. I knew they could put dragons in the house, like full dragons.
That's really cool.
Holy smokes, when we came around to that scene, and this is a spoiler, I didn't want to tell everybody, but when you come up into this room and they have the 2 dragons there, like I have tears about to roll, because that was one of those moments where I'm like, from a creative element, I'm like, bravo, like you guys really you guys did that well. And to be honest, this was the one house that I think, for me at least, that had so much writing on it because of its history with Universal. It was an attraction at Islands of Adventure, and it was one of my favorite roller coasters I've ever been on, ever. And so I was like, if they don't do this house justice, I'm going to be really pissed. But man, did they knock this one out. Yeah. The storyline of it, even the podcast episode they have of it for Discover Universal, leading into the house. This is one of those houses where I think they made sure they did well, and surely enough, they did. Mm-hmm. And from what I'm seeing with you guys in the chat, and from with people that I've talked about opening weekend with, when they first went in that house, the path they chose was basically like what they used to choose in the ride. So there's a bit of a nostalgic factor that's really cool there too.
I think everybody we've talked to that used to do, like, has gone on the ride and used to do the ride and liked the ride, loves this house. There are some people that I've heard that maybe like didn't do the ride or don't really know what the story is of this house, and they don't really care for it. And I think that's just
it. And this is what I'm gonna say, because they didn't do the ride, they may not have liked it as much, but they're also going with the expectation. When they were talking to me, they were like, this didn't scare me much.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like,
scary.
It's funny because when I went to The Exorcist, that's all I was looking for was scares, and they delivered, which is why I liked it. But when I went to Dueling Dragons, I was not looking for scares. I was looking for aesthetics, and they knocked that out of the park, which is why I liked that. Also, I do got to pull this up. I realized I'm a little behind on this. Jim Daniels with the 20 cent for the good old Hondo Fund. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. And I know Jim was heading out for an investigation, I believe.
Yes.
Best of luck. Good luck, my man. May the force be with you.
Another super chat.
Jim, appreciate that. And then also Jonathan Avila, the $4.99, saying, headed out, hitting the gym. I don't know if y'all tried the peanut butter smuggler, but it's definitely rough. 4 out of 10. Def making it at home to make it better.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah, Justin said he heard it made some people sick. Yikes.
Well, that makes me nervous.
Yeah, we typically stick to like we don't do the like fancy drinks.
Is that a drink? Oh, is that
right?
a drink?
I think that's the drink.
Yeah, that's a drink. I don't know why I'm thinking of the.
You're thinking of the Butter Burger.
But yeah, that is the drink. And I did hear one person tell me that they had one sip and immediately just tossed it out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really do the.
Well, if there's
like
one
the
person that can make
drinks.
it better, it's this gentleman right
Yeah.
here. So, Jonathan, yes, please let me know.
Let us know how it goes.
Let us know. Best of luck. And thanks for the $4.99, by the way.
So, continuing our way around.
I just want to say this. Dylan Dragons, beautiful, fantastic job. I'm very happy with it. That was one of our top performing houses.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll continue, and we'll try to make these next ones quick. I'm sorry that I'm taking so long. I'm just so excited. Like, it's Horror Nights. It's finally here.
Okay.
Like,
so
yes. No sleep. Woo. My body hurts.
The next one is
I'm out of
Yeti.
money.
And
All right, go on.
the next one is Yeti. I will say we did only do this one once on opening night, so we don't have a ton to go off of. We've heard like of other people's like walkthroughs where they're explaining the house, and we're like, I didn't see that. So we definitely have to go through it again.
Yeah. I don't know why we didn't do Yeti again.
I don't know.
Because I enjoyed Yeti. Yeti was fun. But I think Yeti, it was opening night that was the only time we did it. So it was kind of like a mid-tier house for us. But we're hearing great things from Yeti. So, I mean...
Yeah. We
Yeah.
just have to go through it again.
Yeah, Yeti, was that that one, and Chucky was the only one that we did one time.
Correct.
Right? So we're not going to spend too much time on Yeti. Yeti was great. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But we're going to move on to Chucky, which was the next house on the list. That is another house we also just did once. I don't care for Chucky. I'm not a Chucky fan. I know some people are. Some people like the house. I don't really care for it. So obviously I went into this house not expecting much. I love the storyline of it, though, where they made it to the point where it's like, you know, Chucky saw that they were making a house. He went to check on it. He is very upset with it. And he said, screw it. I'm going to do it myself kind of thing. So I like that kind of story to it. But going through that house, I really think the Fast and Furious location is just a cursed location. It's so small. It's hard to really get aggressive when it comes to making big scenes and sets. It feels small. It is small. They did with what they had, and it's decent. But I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
It was one of the lower performing ones. We only did it once on opening night, so everybody started.
And it was
towards
our
the end of the
second to
night.
last house.
Yeah, it
We
was
were like
the third to last house.
Third to last house. We were debating if we even wanted to do it because we were running out of time.
It was like 1:46 a.m.
and
or
then
like
we-
1:43 a.m.
And then we got into Express Line, and the Express Line itself was super long. So we were just like,
Yeah, the operational part of it was a little rough. I don't know why it was moving so slow. Like even when we got to the house, we stopped multiple times.
I do think that is one house that you almost have to go through a few times in order to get all of the like what he's saying, because the first few times you go through any house, you don't really hear all of the like the not like narration, but like the audio that's going on. You don't really hear it because there's just so much going on.
Yeah.
And I think that it might be one that is a lot funnier after you go through it a few times. So we might have to do it a few more times. I don't know if we will.
And there's also
but-
activated stuff too
Yeah.
that we need to check out, like guest activated triggers.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is we will do Chucky more. I do think Chucky will get better. I do think Chucky has a potential to do better than Blumhouse last year. But as far as like the storyline and the following through, we weren't really like catching on to it. It was a little bit of a bummer for us, but I do like the story for it. I just didn't think it executed it for opening night because that was the only time we did it. So we'll do it more and stuff, but we'll see how it progresses. And that's all I'm gonna say about Chucky right now. I'm saying we'll give it another opportunity.
Right. So the next house, working our way around, would be
Oddfellow.
Oddfellow. First night, huge disappointment. But there were like 4 scare actors in the whole house. I don't know what happened, but we went through again on the third night, and we were like, where were all of these people?
How many times did we do Oddfellow?
Twice.
Twice. Okay.
And I know a lot of people are really liking it. I think we'll have to go through it a few more times. It's not at the very top of my list, but it was much, much better the second time we went through.
This house was in the bottom 3 for us opening night. And it's because when we went through, we didn't see Oddfellow at all. Not one time. And he shows up, I think, 3 times in this house. We didn't see him at all. We saw a total of 4 to 5 scare actors when we went through it on opening night. So majority of the time, it was just like emptiness. So I obviously, Steph and I knew scare actors were missing, and people asked us, did you guys have a cast swap? We saw way down the line, they already did a cast swap. We saw that swap, and so we knew, okay, we're getting a fresh cast because we were still waiting 10 minutes in line. We still didn't see anybody.
There was something.
Something must have happened. We don't know what it was, but we just had bad timing, and that's why that house ranked so low for us on opening night. But when we went through night number 3, it was very much day and night compared to what it was opening night. It was a lot better. We enjoyed it. The energy in that house is very decent. I do like the energy and stuff the scare actors are getting into it. That is just one of those that I think belongs in the middle right now for us. We're not big clown circus type of fans.
But we loved puppet theater, so it might work its way up.
Yeah,
we've seen a lot of people say it's their number 1, so we just might need to go through it a few more times.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Don't think that we're bashing this, because I think that this house, out of all the houses we've done, has the most potential to grow for Steph and I. We just need to do it more. We only did it twice. You know what I'm saying? So, decent, Oddfellow, mid-range right now for us. The next house, Darkest Deal. This house,
is my number 1 right now.
Oh,
I have
okay.
to.
Well, anyways, there you go. Darkest Deal is number 9 on the list for anticipation before the event. When we did Darkest Deal on opening night, I was kind of meh about it.
Yeah, like, opening night, we were like, that was fine.
Like, all right. However, we have always stated this. That location, for some reason, whatever house is there, since HHN30, the more we do it, the more it grows on us. And we did Darkest Deal 3 times, and holy snap. Every single time we did Darkest Deal, it did not just improve, but it doubled its improvement. So by the time it was our 3rd night, Exorcist has some great scares. The scare actors, energetic. I don't know what the scare actors did on night number 3 for Darkest Deal, but they were getting in my face. I have not had a house where scare actors have gotten in my face in a long time. And these folks did it in Darkest Deal, so much so that I was just like, I don't care, to be honest, for the story of Darkest Deal. I really like, whatever. But holy smokes, when we got out of that house on the 3rd night, I turned around and I looked at Steph and was like, oh my God, like, I want every house to be like that. There was something that was going on with the scare actors where their energy was unmatched and they were fluid with each other. So much so that there were scare actors popping out right in front of my face that when that happened, I had to turn and look at Steph. I was missing another one right in front of me. I mean, it was constant and it was really good. Darkest Deal surprised me, and the masks, the costumes and stuff in this house, very pleased with. So Darkest Deal, definitely top for us.
I love the costumes. I think that all of the, like, I'm assuming all of the costumes that are kind of like monsters are supposed to be like the devil. At least that's what I'm assuming.
Versions, in a sense.
Yeah, versions of like the devil. And they are so creepy and just like cool looking. I love the costumes. The audio in that house, the voice of the devil is freaking creepy. I love it.
This house was one of those that really surprised us, because this was our number 9. I think I said 8. This was our number 9 on our anticipated list. And this one just performed very exceptionally well. And it was more that we did it. And I don't know, it's this location that the more we do whatever house is in this location, it just constantly performs well. So huge shout out to the crew for Darkest Deal.
I love, like, you literally go like underground at one point and it smells like dirt and worms, and that's really cool.
Even they had this perspective where you see this like cabin above you and the chair that is like rocking and stuff. I mean, they have, I don't want to give too much because I'm really hyping up Darkest Deal for you guys. Steph and I are both and stuff, and I want you guys to go in there with high expectations because it does deliver on such.
Yeah.
So
and the actors who play the character, I forget his name, Pine Straw Spruce, the like performer, amazing.
They're on it, man, and that's the thing. It's like it feels like you have a veteran cast in there.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. So Darkest Deal, great. There are some scenes that are very beautiful, well lit, and they tell the story good. And then there are some scenes that are just like raw, dark, in your face scares. So it has a great balance for a house, especially with the story. Story we didn't care for going in the beginning, and now that we've gone through it 3 times, we're like, we love this. We really do. So, all right,
moving our way.
We go
from very, very.
We go from a top tier house to a house that was one of the bigger disappointments for me in the night, and that is The Last of Us. Now, I know Universal Creative was very excited to work with Neil in the house. I'm going to say this. The house is beautiful. The Last of Us house is a beautiful house. Very well done. The scenery and all. The sound, great. I don't know why, but maybe we just had bad timing with this house. But the times we have gone through this house, and I think it's twice, right?
Twice, yeah.
We've only gone through this house twice, and it's only opening weekend. Give it time, right? I think this one has potential, and I really hope it does, because it could be a very good house. The energy's not there. I don't know what it is, but the vibe, it just... That house we need to give time. I don't want to give too much, bash on The Last of Us, because it is a beautiful house. It has potential, and I love this location for houses.
I think any of the issues that we have with it are redeemable. Like, they're not things that it's like, well, that's just the house.
Yeah.
It's like it can definitely get better.
Yeah, they do have great scenes. They have great sets. The things that we look forward to in a house, it wasn't there. And we've had people that said they loved it, and we had people that said they didn't like it. And it's also one of those where we've had friends who's gone through the house that they love the video game that said that they love the house, and we've also had some others that love the video game that said that it just didn't resonate well with them. And I think it's based on what you look forward to in a house, because it is a beautiful house, but we just didn't get any of the scares. So I think we need to go through it a couple times. And
I also think that we expected it to be really scary.
Intense.
And I don't think that it's a really scary house.
Mm-mm.
I don't think it was designed to be a really scary house.
Intense. Scary, but intense. I don't think it was intense. But I'm just going to say, and I think, and I think this is, Valerie brings a good point where she's like, I hyped it up so much. This is also one of those houses that I was hyping up through spec season so much, so that when we got it, I was really excited that we got it. This is something we speculated since last year, if you guys remember. For last year's event, we've been talking about The Last of Us, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
So it's been something we've been talking about for a long time, and it's a beautiful house. Congrats to Neil and Naughty Dog and Universal Creative and HHN and all that stuff, and for putting such a beautiful house together and really hitting the nail on the head for it. I just think that the energy needs to be increased dramatically in there to really make that like, oh, that's a good house, because it has potential to be a good house.
Mm-hmm.
Just that's one of those houses you got to give time to build on.
Yeah,
that's all I'm gonna say for it.
And I think the movements of the clickers they might need some time to figure out exactly how that works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Scare actors. So I think they need a little bit of time, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Just give it time. That house needs time. So now, going from that one to a higher note, Classic Monsters, Unmasked.
I had one issue with this house.
I have a couple. Well, go ahead.
The only issue I guess it's kind of two, but in one. It had the same issue as Legends did in the opening weekend last year, where it felt very uneven in terms of the proportion of monsters. You have 8 rooms dedicated to Phantom, which we're not mad about, but then you only have maybe 1 or 2 rooms for each of the other monsters after that.
Yeah, 70% is Phantom
And the only other issue that I had was that one of the areas with like that was for Phantom, you had like maybe 2 or 3 hallways in a row that were empty.
It's nothing. I don't know if it's designed to be like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But they definitely like had some just empty hallways, which reminded me as we were going through it. This is what it reminded me of was the spirits from last year. Spirits of the Coven last year house, where there was a couple of hallways of just nothing, just nice, beautiful scenery and stuff. But when it comes to a house that I want energy from, and honestly, if any of you guys go through a house with me, every now and then you'll hear me yell out loud, "Give me energy." I will yell that at the top of my lungs for people to give me energy, because that's what I want. When I go through a house at Horror Nights, I just want energy from start to finish. I want to walk out of the house like breathing, like holy smokes. I go, okay, cool, let me settle down. But when we went through this house, Monsters has consistently been one of those houses, and it was our first night and stuff, but it didn't like improve in a sense. There were kind of moments that were really good and kind of moments that I'm like, give it time, it'll work well. The scenery and the sets are beautiful. Yeah. I will say I'm a little disappointed where like they had the Invisible Man in there. They did not need to have him in there. They could have honestly just taken him out. They could have had more for like Hunchback possibly to involve in and stuff. Just the Hunchback and the Invisible Man scenes and stuff felt less. Mr. Hyde, Dr. Jekyll, a little bit longer than those, but felt, less compared to Phantom. I love Phantom, don't get me wrong, but I think they could have done a little more with that house. But the overall look and stuff is beautiful, and that house will have energy, and it does have some good some good scares. A couple that actually got in front of me too that I was very pleased with. Was our most anticipated house coming into the event, but I think right now it's in the middle because there were others that I think just outperformed it. But I will ride to the end with the Monsters that they will be number one. That's what I'm holding on to, hopefully. So, but with that is all 10 of the houses. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because there's nothing on that whole other
and
side of the
nothing,
park.
Yeah, down below towards Hollywood and stuff. So those are the 10 houses, right? We have we talked a bit about it. We broke them down and stuff. We tried not doing as many spoilers as possible for you guys. But now we need to rank them, and then we'll talk briefly about the scare zones. I really don't want to get into the scare zones too much, just because we necessarily didn't experience the scare zones fully, if that makes sense. Like, when Steph and I do the scare zones, we like to sit in a scare zone for an hour and watch it unfold. And we didn't really get to do that for opening weekend. Really, we didn't really have the time. We were going to houses and stuff. We also did Nightmare Fuel, did the shows. We're trying a little bit of food and all that stuff. So we didn't really get to do the scare zones too much. Like, our third night was the first time we actually got to see, like, the Oddfellows scare zone and see some of the characters and stuff like that. So it took us the whole weekend for it. So we'll kind of get into that and all that. By the way, I want to bring this gentleman up here, right here. Got to meet this guy, Adam Jeffrey, joining in as a Fright Club beginner. Welcome to the Fright Club, my man. Great having you on board. Great also getting to see you at the event, too. And if you guys don't know, Adam's got a little photography page over on Instagram. Go check him out over on IG, guys. Some pretty awesome photos for you guys to see. But Adam, great having you on board, man. Appreciate it. So let's go ahead and talk about our rankings for the house. Currently, after opening weekend, that's what we're going to do, our rankings for them. And then we'll go tomorrow. Holy smokes. Tomorrow night we'll be at HHN again. Yeah. I'm so excited. Then we'll get into our rankings. We'll talk about every weekend after Horror Nights. We'll do another live stream where we do an update on our rankings and stuff like that. But we'll also go ahead and how to put this? Let's just do the rankings. We'll talk about it. So this will be a conversation between Steph and I, because we haven't ranked them together, and you guys will be able to, kind of hear how we go about this and stuff. Okay. And chime in on it.
Number 10.
Our 10th house.
Chucky.
You say Chucky.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree. I'll say Chucky. Yeah. Because I also think there's a house operational factor that plays in the Chucky that I don't like, and that brought it down for me.
Okay.
So we'll say number 10's Chucky, right? And as we go along, too, if you guys want to jump in as well, you guys can also write down what your number 10 house is.
Also, this isn't saying that any of them are bad or anything like that, or that the scare actors did a bad job or anything like that. I always bring this up. My first year 2018, amazing houses. Probably the strongest year for houses. However, I was cast in Blumhouse, which was rough. So I get it.
Yeah. So.
But anyway, number 10.
It is, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's opening weekend.
Yeah.
The list that we give you now, I promise, is going to change. This will change more dramatically, but the closer we get to the end of the event, it will be more solidified on that. So we say 10's Chucky. I see a good amount of people also agreeing Chucky is the 10th as well. So.
All right. What would you say is number 9?
This is where it gets interesting.
It's really hard.
Because The Last of Us is towards the bottom. This is what I'm going to say. Our top houses that we've enjoyed was Darkest Steel, Blood Moon, Exorcist, Dueling Dragons, and Monsters.
Yeah.
Those were like our top houses. The bottom half was Oddfellow, Yeti, Stranger Things, Last of Us, and Chucky, right? But in what order? I think I would give... I would probably put number 9, Stranger Things, for me.
I think I would have to say The Last of Us. Just because I like the vibe of Stranger Things a little bit better.
And the reason why I have it at number 9 for me, where you have The Last of Us, is because I had higher expectations for Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And it
fell
a lot harder than The Last of Us to me. So I would put Stranger Things at number 9, but I do think Stranger Things could be a top 5 house later in the run, potentially.
Yeah. All right.
Number 8?
Number 8 is Stranger Things.
Last of Us for me, right? For the same reasons that we discussed earlier. It just, those IPs and stuff, like they have some stepping up to do.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
I think, what are we on, 7?
A, B, C.
Yes, we're on 7. So I think this one's hard because it is kind of a toss-up between Yeti and Oddfellow. However, we only did Yeti once. So I think I would put Yeti at number 7 for now, but that might change.
See, I would put Oddfellow at number 7.
I liked Oddfellow the second time we went through.
See, I like Oddfellow, right? And we went through the second time, it improved. Our first night, Oddfellow just doesn't count, right? The reason why I have Oddfellow number 7, where you have Yeti, is because Oddfellow was higher up on my anticipation list than Yeti was.
Yeah.
But Oddfellow didn't reach that mark so much, where Yeti, I was expecting it to kind of be like that. So I would give Yeti the 6th spot, where I give Oddfellow the 7th spot.
You all know how I feel about Yeti.
Yeah.
In general.
The thing is with Yeti that disappointed me is I was hoping it would have been a little more campier. I wanted it to be...
And there are some things that I think we missed.
Yes,
So
I mean, we've only did... What was the other house? Like, Chucky and Yeti was the only house we only did one time. So you can't do a house one time and be like, yep, this is where it belongs on the list. You had to do it multiple times. It's going to change as the event goes, especially when the scare actors get the hold of things. And same with the house ops. But Yeti, I was really hoping that it would have been a little more campier, and I didn't really get that strong 50s era vibe. I was really hoping for a much stronger 50s aesthetic to it. I mean, how much could you really do in the woods? You know what I'm saying?
I think it was very much like 2019's Yeti, just set in the summertime. So
yeah,
I'm like...
It's a fun house though, and there's one scene in there with like the little the lake pond little area. That's really neat.
That part is cool.
It's really neat. So I would give Yeti number 6. Would you change yours or would you keep it the same?
No, I'm keeping it the same.
Okay, there you go.
Oddfellow number 6.
We both agree with number 10, Chucky. Number 9, I say Stranger Things. You said Last of Us, and then it's vice versa for 8.
Yeah.
7, Oddfellow, where you're saying Yeti, and it's vice versa for 6.
And then
now this is the harder part. I think the last 5, 6th place through 10th place is easy for us to kind of put in, but from 1st place to 5th place, I think is much more difficult, especially the top 3. So number 5, what are you going with number 5?
what do we have left?
You got Dueling Dragons, you have Exorcist, you have Blood Moon, you have Monsters, and you have Darkest Steel. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think number 5 is going to be Monsters for me. I really want it to be number 1, but Like if you were to ask me in order which of those houses I'd want to go in, like right now, I think Monsters would be number 5.
I loved going through Monsters. I'm very biased with that. But I think I might agree with you.
And I'm hoping it'll change.
And it will. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is how Legends Collide for us last year was kind of the same.
Yeah.
Where then by the end of the night, or by the end of the run, Legends Collide was easily, hands down, our favorite house of the event. So I'm going to agree with Steph and put Monsters at number 5. But this is how I'm going to say it. The first place house to the 5th place house are just close. It's very close. I'm talking minute details. Like tomorrow when we go through those top 5 houses, they could all flip.
Yeah, it honestly could be a tie for first.
Yeah,
like
all of these houses
tie.
I will. Like, don't think like because Monsters is 5th, you're like, wow, it's 5th place for y'all. It's like, no, it's like 1st through 5th is really like a battle for first place.
Yeah.
And this is where currently I just have to put them in that order.
Honestly, I saw Crystal had said like it's kind of unfortunate that the bottom, like the last 3 are all IPs. And then Zach had said the originals this year are just really strong. And honestly, this year is making me want Universal to go to like no more IPs, just originals.
Do 1 year of full originals, which I'm not that type of person, but what we've been seeing with originals lately, and it's because one crazy cool thing that Universal does with HHN is they don't do repeat houses like some other events do. Horror Nights puts on new originals like every single year. So I'm down for them to do that because they just somehow seem to come up with the most creative ways to showcase a story, to scare you, and to even create characters and storylines and stuff. So I find that recently we've been enjoying more. I just think that with the IPs this year, just we need to give them time for the scare actors and things to get that improved. And I think the storyline is strong enough to obviously perform well. We're waiting for that. So I'll agree with you. Number 5, Monsters. Number 4.
All right. So
you have Exorcist, Blood Moon, Darkest Steel, and Dueling Dragons.
I think this one, I don't know, it's kind of a tie for me between like Blood Moon and Exorcist because like I like the aesthetics of Blood Moon better, but Exorcist was scarier. So it's like depends on like what I'm feeling.
I'm going to go ahead and say this, and Adam said this. Exorcist number 4 for me.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
I love the scares and the energy from the Exorcist for the scare actors and stuff. The scenery is great and all that stuff, but because I don't know the movie for the Exorcist yet, that I don't know where, like, I don't really know what's happening in a sense. Or with Blood Moon, because it's an original and the story is fully there, I do know what's happening. And there were moments and things in Blood Moon that I was just surprised with. And the same with the Exorcist. Exorcist was one of the first IPs that I've gone through where I was surprised with because we don't know anything that's happening, you know?
Yeah.
So I love the Exorcist, and the reason why I'm bringing up Blood Moon right now is because I would put Blood Moon as my number 3, right? Mm-hmm. And I just think that, you know, Exorcist is great, but I just think Blood Moon is way cooler to see. I love that openness that they have. I'm a stickler for like open scenes where you can see further down the house, like a path. You can see guests down the path and all, and scares and stuff. So it feels like you're actually in the town. You feel like you're immersed. It's not just like a room, then a hallway, and a room, and a hallway. It's like you're out there. You're in the town. So I would give the edge to Blood Moon for it. And I love that they have the moon. I've been saying that for so long that I hope they have the moon up there, and they do. And you could even see it like reflect off the windows of certain houses, which is so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And then I think...
Do you agree with that, though?
Yeah.
Right?
So,
okay.
4 Exorcist, 3 Blood Moon. And I think that we're going to have flip-flopped 1 and 2s.
No, we're on the same page.
Dueling Dragons number 2, Darkest Steel number 1.
Yes. Dueling Dragons is beautiful, and the energy is there. Dueling Dragons, and it's so funny because we even talked about it on night number 2. Blood Moon was our number 1, and Dueling Dragons was number 2. Night number 3, Darkest Steel became number 1. Dueling Dragons number 2. And I think the story of how our rankings list is going to be through HHN this year is what house is going to compete with Dueling Dragons. And I think that's a good thing for Dueling Dragons. The problem Dueling Dragons doesn't have is it's not a scary house, right? It's a very fantasy-like house. But Dueling Dragons is executed so well. The scare actors have the energy, and they are figuring it out. Like, I've noticed from night 1 to night 3, the 3 times we've done it, it has consistently gotten more aggressive, more energy-like. So I think Dueling Dragons has a chance, to compete for the #1 spot. But Darkest Deal surprised the hell out of me on night number 3, which is why I have to give props to the scare actors. So they get #1 for me.
I think Darkest Deal honestly reminds me a lot of Wicked Growth and also of like Puppet Theater, where like, I don't know, it's just like there's just a vibe about it. I can't really explain.
They transport you to the scenery, to the setting, to what is happening in the storyline.
Yeah.
So well.
Yeah. It's like the story, I think. Yeah.
That one surprised me. That one really surprised me because that was number 9 on our list, and it's my #1 after the weekend. Exorcist was number 10 on my list, and it became number 4 over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, number 8 was Blood Moon. It was my number 3 house and stuff. Our anticipation list literally just flopped. Pretty much, you know, or flipped. It flopped.
Flip-flopped.
It flopped. Our anticipation list sucked. It wasn't accurate.
I mean, it wasn't.
No, not by any means. It's just Darkest Deal it just surprised us because even after the first night, I would have probably put that house as like 6th or 7th, truthfully.
Yeah.
But by the third night, that house just kept outperforming itself so much so that I was like what happened? Like it was overnight, and things like this don't happen overnight.
Yeah.
So huge prop to all the scare actors for Darkest Deal and stuff. We got to give them the props for it because they pulled that house to #1.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And I agree with Erica. All of the originals this year are really solid.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why, like, I honestly would be fine if they were like, we're not doing an IP this year, like for next year or something. If they were like, we're not going to do any IPs this year, we're just going to do originals. And there's going to be like one storyline, like the way that they're doing with Oddfellow. But because they're not IPs, every house can be part of that storyline.
And they're all connected.
Yeah.
And it's the theme for next year is
Hondo.
No, Slaughter Cinema. And each house from each B film and stuff. And then you get the scare zones and all. And it's like you're at the drive-in and all. And then we can bring back the usher and that's the icon. And
I would love that.
I know.
I would be in heaven.
That's why I said it. It was for you.
I like that.
I'm gonna go build that for you next year. But it's gonna be like a $30 budget scare zone and a $100 budget house.
It'll just be like our hallway.
It's just Hondo running down the hallway. Tickets, please. So that's what we had to do for our rankings with the houses for opening weekend. Very surprised with the way that things were. It was not what I was expecting at all. But that does not mean that's how they're going to be for the rest of the event. It's just opening weekend. Yeah. We've said this in so many videos in past years and in this year as well, that our favorite time to go to Horror Nights is late September, early October, because that's by the time when they have it figured out. Things are fluid, and we're getting into the October season, the Halloween season. The weather's starting to hopefully chill a little bit and stuff. So expect this list to change, but those top 3 houses, Darkest Deal, Dueling Dragons, and Blood Moon, all originals, very strong.
Amazing.
Very strong. Congrats to the team. Congrats to scare actors, because we love those houses. Those are those houses. Like those 3 right there are 3 houses that we will go through every single night of the event.
Yeah.
And right now, Darkest Deal, how many times have we gone through?
3.
How many times we go through Dueling Dragons?
3.
And how many times we go through Blood Moon?
3.
Every single night of the event, we've gone through it once at least. I promise you, those are the ones that will have the highest
going,
tally.
yeah.
So,
like, I'm excited to go through Darkest Deal tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, so excited.
I mean, that's how we feel. Like, tomorrow, this is what we're going to do. Tomorrow's a Horror Nights night, guys. Like, that's exciting. What we're going to do tomorrow is we're probably going to go to the New York Stay and Scream area. That's what we've been doing for the past few days.
Yeah.
And we're going to probably go do Dueling Dragons, hit that up. We might do Stranger Things. So I want to do Stranger Things again. I feel like it's going to get better.
That has been our go-to Stay and Scream location so far. I mean, it's only been 3 days, but that's been our go-to spot. Every year we kind of have like a different stay and scream that we like frequent, it feels like.
HHN 30 was Springfield.
Yeah.
HHN 31 was Richter's. HHN 32, New York.
But I could see us doing Springfield again this year a few times to do like Oddfellow and Darkest Steel.
Yeah. We'll change it up as it goes and stuff.
Yeah.
But so far, yeah. And the crowds have been crazy. Like in the New York area, the lines for Stay and Scream are ridiculous. Holy smokes.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But yeah, we definitely would recommend, especially if you have Express, do the New York Stay and Scream and then go through Dueling Dragons like first, because there's no line whatsoever, and then you can go do like Exorcist or Stranger Things with your Express.
Yes.
And like knock out like those 3 right at the beginning.
Yeah, I agree. And I would say from what we've heard from people in our experience, Stranger Things has been better the earlier you do it than later in the night. And I think it's because of that transition from being outside during sunlight and going into the house. You can't see those details. That drives me nuts, at least. So I noticed that like I can't really see it because my eyes are adjusting. So it makes the house darker, scarier. And I enjoyed Stranger Things more because of that. So that's what I would do. We'll probably go there. We'll knock out Dueling Dragons once, maybe twice. And then we'll hop over to Stranger Things, hit that with the Express Pass, and maybe Exorcist with the Express. Although Exorcist is one of those, because where it's at in the location, I don't mind doing that later tonight when it's a longer wait, just because to me that's a nice area to be in.
Yeah.
Right there and all. Do want to bring this up? My man Mikey Brown with the 5 saying original houses for the win this year. Darkest Steel, Blood Moon felt like classic traditional HHN houses, and we need more of these. I would agree with you on this statement. They do feel like traditional houses, and it feels like with Blood Moon, like we've seen that so many times, but the way it was performed, it's like it made it felt new and fresh, if that makes sense. So very like the original's very well done this year. And like we said, we did Oddfellow only twice and Yeti only once, so even those have a chance to grow up, for us and our lists to grow up. They can grow up. So but Mikey, thank you for the 5 though.
Chris, is the Chucky's Twisted Playground, is that the Cabana Bay thing? We stayed at the resort over the weekend and did not
Sapphire.
do that.
Yeah.
We just didn't have time.
Don't care, to be honest.
Yeah. I would have liked to get a picture falling off a building, but it's fine.
Yeah. I don't care for the Chucky thing. Anyways. So, ladies and gentlemen, I realize we're at 2 hours in the live stream. I told Steph it'd be an hour and a half, and we're pushing 2. A lot to talk about. What I think we're going to do is, I think we're going to save the scare zones for another day.
We haven't been through them enough.
No, and that's what we were talking about. Like, we want to give more time for the scare zones, where most of the time when Steph and I go just to experience the scare zones, we will sit or stand in a scare zone for 30 minutes to an hour. Like, watch an entire cast for their whole set, and then wait till the next cast and see that. So we'll probably hold on to the scare zones until next week's live stream is what we'll go ahead and do, where we kind of break that down and talk about it stuff. And then we'll break down the second weekend for HHN 32. But today we just really wanted to talk about the houses, the overall feeling. And this is what I kind of have to say. Opening weekend was phenomenal. It was a blast, although the opening night was a little bit of a mess. The whole weekend was fun. I had a great time. And it feels so good for HHN to be back. I honestly don't remember being this excited for Horror Nights to be back. And I think that's a shout out to all of you guys and to you, Steph, where we just been talking about it and hyping it up and building it up. I feel like this year was much stronger for us in the conversation and interacting with you guys and being able to get out there and actually meet you guys and see things and stuff. It feels good. So much so that I'm ready for the second week. Let's go tomorrow night. I'm ready for it to rock and roll. So just to give you guys a little update, we are actually about to do our very last giveaway for the Pumpkin Man film. We're going to be doing that here shortly as we wrap things up. And I think Thursday, I plan to release our second night of HHN. So night number 2 of opening weekend, we did another video. So Thursday, expect that to come up. And then
it's a much happier video.
It is a much happier video. It also, I will say, I apologize for how that video goes. We don't know. The beginning portion of the video had a path. And
we ended up having so much fun that we just forgot to film.
Yeah. I drank a lot that day too, to be honest. So yeah, I don't know what you guys are gonna get for that video. We have to edit it. If it's not something I want to show to the public, maybe I'll show to the Fright Club only. But Thursday, I'm expecting to release that publicly for you guys. So that'll be night number 2 of opening weekend. That'll just be kind of a regular vlog for you guys to check out. And then this week, I don't know if we're going to film tomorrow. We might film on Thursday, but we'll do another vlog at the event. We'll show you guys some stuff as well. More of the scare zones, because we didn't really get to show the scare zones much in our past videos. And on Saturday, right? Steph's parents, I keep trying to say family. Steph's parents is coming in town. It is your family. And we're going to be doing the Behind the Screams tour Saturday. And we're going to do a video on that. It won't be during the tour. It'll be an in-studio video, our first in-studio video in quite a minute. And we'll do that talking about Behind the Screams and what it was like and stuff to see if it's worth it kind of thing, blah, blah, blah. Show you guys some of that stuff. So we have a video coming out Thursday. We'll film one Thursday night and hopefully release it either before next week's live stream on Tuesday. Then we'll have the Behind the Streams video for later next week, and as the lightsaber died. And on next week, not this coming weekend, but the weekend afterwards, we'll be doing our first food and drink video for this year's HHN, which I'm really excited. That's like one we're looking forward to. So we have that coming up. So Thursday video, maybe Monday video, Tuesday live stream, Thursday video, and then I will say maybe Monday video, Tuesday live stream, and then that's it, because we're going to Hollywood. We're going to Hollywood. Oh, I got my ticket.
So excited.
Which is super exciting to go check out HHN Hollywood, which I know some people were telling me that today is HHN Hollywood's team member preview.
Yeah.
So big, good luck to all of them out there. And wishing them the best and stuff, and hopefully it pulls through, because we're excited to see how Hollywood is. It's our first time out there. We know we're going to be doing a video. I don't know if we're going to be doing 2 videos, because we're there for 2 nights. We're still going to discuss it. It all depends on how the first night goes for us, if we do the second video or not. So, but that's currently what's up on the list. But let's go ahead and get to the final giveaway. Remember, guys, I'm going to go ahead and copy a link and all that stuff. Check out the Pumpkin Man film. Today is the first official day that it is live for pre-orders. And you guys can check it all out here on the link that I am dropping right now in the chat over on ScreamTeamReleasing.com. We'll also, for you guys that are watching the rewatch and all that stuff, we'll put it in the link, or we'll put the link in the description below for you guys to check out as well. So, good luck everybody on the giveaway, because what we're doing is we're doing a final Blu-ray copy signed by the team, as well as you'll be the only ones to get this bad boy, a 24x36 full poster of the Pumpkin Man film. Pretty cool, huh? And this one will be signed as well. That'll be part of the giveaway.
Goodness. It's your knee that's like messing it up.
Just grab the edges.
Too bad.
And then just roll. There we go.
I can't.
We gotta work on this, guys. As you can tell, Steph and I were.
Great, I got it.
So
now go ahead. Do your.
Yeah, grab that part. All right, ladies and gents, the Pumpkin Man. The Pumpkin Man. So you know what to do. Spam in the chat. We need to see a bunch of Pumpkin Mans. And at any point, I'm gonna go ahead and end
The live stream.
the live stream, and that's it. Nobody
Goodbye.
wins. We get the win. We keep it. And just to give you guys an update, it is just for pre-orders. Check it out on Scream Team Releasing. They have a VHS copy. They also have Blu-ray copies and regular DVDs. They also have a signed one in there that comes with a smaller portion of the poster as well that you guys saw. And that will also be signed in there. But check them out over on ScreamTeamReleasing.com. It's just for the pre-orders right now. The physical copies will go out later in September. This is just the opportunity for you guys to snag a copy before they're gone. Make sure you do so. And then our giveaway winners, they will be able to receive them by October. So just in time for the Halloween October season for you guys. And all of our giveaway winners for last week's Eve giveaways that we had, those will be going out sometime this week, if not next week for you guys. So stay tuned for all of that. But I noticed, here we go. Ready? 76 likes. How many do you think we should get to?
80.
Just 80? What about 100? Is it possible to get to 100 likes?
I mean, we have 94
people watching right now. Somehow they stuck through over 2 hours for us. We're at 77 likes, 23 more likes. If we can get to at least 90, as soon as we get to it, I'm going to go to stop it. Whoever it's on will win a signed copy of it. 82. It's coming up. I hope you guys... I wish I could hear the music. I want to blast the music right now.
Oh, it went down to 81.
Somebody disliked it.
Unliked it.
Nobody will get the Pumpkin Man copy.
We'll keep it for ourselves.
Yeah, I'll keep it.
It's at 85. 86. 4 more.
He needs to get to 100.
87.
13
You
more.
said 90.
I'm saying 100 now.
Oh.
Come on, folks.
88.
Pumpkin Man. Pumpkin Man.
It went down again to 87.
86.
Oh gosh.
It keeps going down. Oh no. If we can get to 0 likes, we'll do it.
No, don't do that.
Everybody unlike it. All right, 90. Oh, 89. There we go.
89. One more.
Here we go.
$91.
91. Boom. Got it. Bam. Sandy Ben. Congratulations to Sandy Ben. You will get
Another Fright Club member.
Yes, another 3 for 3 with the Fright Clubs, huh?
Yeah.
Holy smokies. As it's still
Congrats.
Congrats, Mr. Sandy Ben. You will be winning a signed Blu-ray copy of the Pumpkin Man with the signed 24x36 poster frame of the Pumpkin Man. Congratulations, Sandy Ben. Everyone, congrats.
Poster, not with a frame.
Oh, poster. Yeah, not a frame. You're gonna have to frame yourself.
Yeah. You're gonna get your own frame.
Get your own frame. So, Sandy Ben, congrats on winning for that. Everybody, huge congrats to our man Sandy for the last one there. And congrats to all the winners. And also, congratulations to Southridge Films for the pre-order release date. Launch date for Pumpkin Man. That's awesome stuff. So, so all of our winners, make sure you reach out to me on Instagram or on Discord, wherever you guys follow us there. And I'll get back with you guys sometime this week. You know, just stay patient with me. We have lots of messages and people we're trying to get back to because opening weekend, my phone literally died Saturday night. Not like from battery life. It just got too many notifications and it just went black. I was like, okay, my phone gave up. Yeah. So give us some time. We'll get back to you guys and get all that stuff and all. And thank you again for Southridge team and the Pumpkin Man film. For allowing us to do such a giveaway and stuff and repping y'all's stuff because the movie is fantastic. So, ladies and gents, that's going to pretty much get to wrapping it up for us here for our post-opening weekend live stream and discussing what our rankings for our houses were, the overall run of the event stuff, what we're looking forward to, and we'll get into some other things that we didn't discuss later. And next week's live stream Tuesday, spread the word. And I know I've been wrapping it up and I can continue to do this and all, but I want to say thank you guys. Steph and I truly do appreciate all the support. It shows. We see your names in here. We've seen people's names since 2021 when we started this. We see it still today, and it means a lot to us. Like, this is so much fun. Like, being at the event and getting the time to stand there in a scare zone, waiting for a house, wherever we may be, and talking with you guys is a blast. Like, this is what we talk about and think about every single day. I mean, you can ask Steph, what is the one thing I'm always talking about? Halloween Hornets. This is the moment we want. This is the moment we wait for. This is the moment we work towards. And to finally be here is everything that I dream of. And now we get to be here and talk with you guys about it and actually live through the events and stuff. It's fantastic. So I'm not going to get too soppy and all that stuff. We'll just... Slappy, right? We had a conversation about stuff. I'm not going to get all like that. We'll end it like that. So, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for all the support as always. Congratulations, Sandy Ben, on that last giveaway and all that. And with that being said, that's going to do it for us tonight. ladies and gents, catch you guys in the next video and in the next
And
live stream.
tomorrow.
And tomorrow we'll be out at Halloween Horror Nights. Woo!
All right.
Good night, people.
Do you remember your first Halloween? Remember your costume? Walking around your neighborhood and seeing all the ghoulish decorations? The smell of that crisp autumn wind and dead leaves mixed with pumpkin spice rushing through the air? The taste of your trick-or-treating haul? Sitting in front of the TV watching a science fiction double feature while eating your favorite candy? Or maybe drinking a warm apple cider while gazing over a pumpkin patch? Do you remember all these? Those precious memories? Save them, because this Halloween could be your last.